Getting product feedback from your target customers can be tough, and it can be especially tough when you're new to a market or trying to grow a new brand or product. If you don't have an established audience of potential customers already, how do you find that audience, get in touch with them, share your product with them to test, and then collect that feedback so you can make product adjustments or improvements? Luckily, Bostic is here to help. Welcome to Attached to Hygiene, the podcast that enables you to grow your knowledge and influence in the absorbent hygiene industry. My name is Jack Hughes, and my mission is to help you, the absorbent hygiene article producer, design and produce the best possible products to meet the needs of your customers. On today's episode, we're speaking with Sharon Vinderine, founder and head of consumer trust at Parent Tested, Parent Approved, about how they partner with brands to get their absorbent baby products tested by targeted users and receive feedback from those users so that the brands can succeed in the market. Sharon has spent the last 15 years building Parent Tested, Parent Approved by connecting brands with parents who want to test and use their products. She's collected the feedback from these parents and shared it with brands so they can determine if their products are ready for market and ideally get the Parent Tested, Parent Approved seal of approval. Since my conversation with Sharon was packed with so much information, we are splitting it into two parts. The first episode will cover how the PTPA testing and approval process works and how they avoid issues like a lack of diversity in the testing pool or conflicts of interest, since the brands are technically PTPA's clients. In episode 2, Sharon will share what PTPA has learned from facilitating the testing of absorbent baby products over the years and what suggestions she has for companies and brands producing baby diapers and pants for today's parents. Joining me today to discuss what parents are looking for when evaluating absorbent baby products and baby products in general is Sharon Vinderine. Sharon, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks so much.
You are a bit of an outsider. You're not native to the absorbent hygiene industry. I'm not sure if everyone in the industry might know who you are. So I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself, your role, and your background.
All right. I love that. I'm an outsider. All right. So basically, you are totally right. While the hygiene industry is a portion of what we do, it's not necessarily my background. I actually started as a high-tech entrepreneur, sold my company, and then became a mom. And of course, moms have a million and one ideas, and Parent Tested, Parent Approved became one of those ideas. And basically what we do is our goal is to help simplify shopping for moms. So we have a testing process that products go through in order to earn our Parent Tested, Parent Approved seal that they can then leverage on their packaging, on their marketing in order to stand out and establish trust with consumers.
You mentioned that, baby diapers or absorbent hygiene products aren't the only thing that Parent Tested, Parent Approved focuses on. So can you share a little bit about the different types of products or product categories that you are contributing your seal to?
Absolutely. So when I was a new mom, I was hopeful to get all products related to newborns. But as my own children aged, it's become, we do anything from diapers, wipes, skincare to we have tested cars, electronics, Dyson fans, vacuums. So we really run the gamut. The goal is anything and everything that a family would use, even pets. We do a lot of pet products because they're part of the family too. And I know you have pets, so you probably really resonate with that.
Absolutely.
Across all industries, really, if something a family member is going to use, that's something we are going to test.
Great. I want to dive in a little more into that. But before we do that, I always like to ask our guests what they like most about working in our industry. And for you in the consumer products industry, I'll kind of modify the question. So what do you like most about working in the consumer products industry?
So I think it's really exciting to have the opportunity to see all the new products that are coming out into the marketplace. The other thing I really love is when I established this company, the goal was to help smaller startup brands find a way to promote themselves and get in front of consumers, because obviously they're not going to have the same marketing dollars that multinational corporations are going to have, right? But they have fantastic products. These days, they call them challenger brands. But, back 15 years ago when I started the company, they were just startups. So I love seeing the innovation that comes out. And at the same time, I love that I have an opportunity to help consumers, simplify shopping for consumers, help them find the right products, because as we know, our dollar these days when we are shopping is so much more valuable, and we want to spend it on products that are going to deliver on expectations. When I used to shop, I used to buy things based on, oh, is this the most expensive, or does this look like the best in packaging? And that is what I thought was going to be the right product. And I quickly learned there is so much more that goes into a great product. So I love what we get to do with the brands. I love what we get to do with consumers.
Yeah, I'm sure it's incredibly rewarding to be able to make a difference in kind of maybe steering parents in the right direction, or at least giving them more information to make the best purchasing decision for themselves.
Absolutely. And when we started, it was very much all of the small companies. As we grew, obviously, the multinationals came to us. Well, not obviously, thankfully. So we have a nice broad assortment of products.
Now, you're kind of a middle person. You're the partner for the brands, but you're also the kind of advocates for the consumers. And I'm wondering if you can share a little bit, how does that work? How exactly do you get these products to be tested? And then beyond that, like, how does the testing process work?
Sure. So like you said, the brands are our customers, but our community is very much who we serve. So what happens in our process is a brand will approach us and say, hey, I have this product or this line of products that I'd like to get tested for the seal of approval. So they pay a fee in order to go through our testing process. And what we do is we have a community of about 250,000 consumers. We'll select a small target audience that matches their product. So for example, I would not take a cloth diaper and give it to someone who only uses disposable. I want to make sure it's their target audience so they can get valid feedback, right? We then provide them with the product. We provide them with a custom survey around that product. And then we ask them over a 4 to 6 week period to provide feedback in that survey about their experience with the product. So that does a couple of things. Number one, it gives us the tools by which to determine, did the product earn our seal of approval? At the same time, we take that market research and we actually provide it to the manufacturer. So whether they've earned the seal or have not earned the seal, they are getting that feedback. And actually, for brands that don't earn the seal of approval, we actually give them a 70% refund of their fees. So we want them to take that market research, make something better, and hopefully come back to us with a new and improved product. The brands that do earn the certification then have the ability to leverage it, on packaging, on marketing, on television. Hello Bello does a fantastic job leveraging the seal on their diapers and on their wipes and on their line of baby products. So there's a lot of innovative ways to market a product once it has earned a seal of approval.
No, it's great. That's great to understand that process and kind of understand, obviously the brands are finding it valuable, but the brands wouldn't be doing it if the parents didn't find it valuable also. So
right.
That's great to understand that process.
Yeah. And when you think about it, when you go in, so, backtracking here, when I started this, it was all about, I was going into a store, and if I was looking for a baby towel, there were 15 to choose from. So I know I can't bring like 15 to 20 of my best friends going, okay, guys, which of these towels did you guys use and which of them did you love? So the seal of approval on a product is kind of like shopping with 15 to 20 of your best friends and all of them saying, hey, I tested that, I loved it, and I highly recommend it. So that has a lot of power. A peer endorsement, especially these days where you are faced with endless numbers of fake e-reviews out there, it is really powerful to have a symbol of trust that isn't consumer voted, but is actually consumer tested and approved.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think, as you mentioned, there's a lot of companies out there that, may offer some recommendations on products based on getting paid as opposed to actually testing those products. And I've seen some things about that. And then on the other side, there are also, you see kind of influencers or some of these moms on Instagram or TikTok that are willing to buy all these products and test them themselves, but that's, and not every mom has the ability to do that or the means to do that.
Yeah.
And it's, it's one person's experience with these products, every baby's different size, situation. So
it becomes subjective, right?
Yeah.
And it was interesting. The other day we were having a sales meeting and someone on the team suggested we talk to a particular brand. And I said, actually, we already tested their product in 2020 and the product did not earn the seal because across the board, everyone who tested it said the product malfunctioned. It was an infant product in the electronic space. So she mentioned, the person on the team said, well, that's interesting because in that spring of that year, when we tested them, they actually earned 4 different awards from our competitors. And that was incredibly frustrating to me because the competing awards programs are all very reputable and recognized. But knowing that they are consumer voted and they gave their awards to this product that literally all 20 families said simply did not work really is concerning, because how does a mom make an informed choice? She is now going to trust that seal of approval. She's going to buy it. She's going to bring it home. And it is just not going to live up to expectations. So, that just reinforces the importance of in-hand testing because it makes all the difference at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's kind of mind-boggling for me as someone in marketing, like how easy it is to lose consumer trust. And if a company, a ratings company, a reputable company is going to put their stamp of approval on that and it doesn't work, like not only is that brand losing trust, but that, that company could lose trust. And that's, it's mind-boggling to me that someone would go to those lengths to do that.
Right?
But
yeah, I had a whole rant on social media about it because it's, as a mom, it really angers me. And as a business owner, it really angers me. I'm all up for competitors because I feel like competition is great because it pushes you forward. But I want it to be legitimate competition. And I want to find a way to let consumers know, hey, there's lots of consumer voted awards, but those are not, you can get a survey that says, have you ever used this product or do you intend to? And if so, do you recommend it? And okay, the product just won an award. Well, what value does that really have? But obviously I'm biased,
No, but it's, while there are companies out there like yourselves and your competitors that are there to, ideally help consumers, it does kind of lend itself to kind of more landmines out there for parents to have to kind of navigate.
Exactly.
Now, you mentioned around 250,000 consumers in your member network. And I'm wondering, how do you choose the parents for that? Or how do you find the parents for that? And then as like a follow-up, how do you ensure that the parent group, that member network is diverse enough to, represent, especially in the United States or the US and Canada, like our diverse population?
So there's no lack of diversity between our two countries. Absolutely. So I will start at the beginning in terms of your question. So the community that we have built has been built organically. So we did not spend money, promoting it. We do not pay testers to become part of the community. So at this point, I've done probably somewhere in the range of 300 to 350 different television shows across North America, primarily the US. So that's given us a really amazing opportunity to grow our consumer audience. If I used to be on the Steve Harvey show and I'd be talking about, hey, these are the top products that earned our seal of approval. There are a lot of moms who are going to sign up as a result because they want the opportunity to test products. In terms of matching up products with the right consumer audience, we're collecting demographic information that the consumers are willingly providing us, because we let them know we need that information in order to properly match you with a product. So if you don't want to give us that demographic information, feel free to be part of the community, but we won't be able to match you up. And then we do regular surveys to help keep our database up to date. So for example, we might be testing, here's a great scenario outside of your industry. We needed to test a compression sock. So that's obviously very specific, not necessarily a demographic detail that I will have. Maybe it's for someone who's a diabetic or an athlete. So then we conduct another survey of our community to determine whether they're the right fit, if it's something that specific. We narrow it down by if the client said, okay, I want particular states or zip codes or whatever it is. And then we make sure that they line up in terms of what the brand has told us is their target audience. It could be income, gender, culture, and specifics like I'm a cloth diaper user, disposable, compression sock user, whatever it is.
I'm curious, can a brand come to you and say, I'm designing this product specifically for African-American babies and parents, and then you can say, okay, we have this group, and then you can just target or work with that group of members?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And what happens is if you are a member and you match the demographic, we're not just telling you need to test something. You're getting an email from us saying, there's an opportunity for you to test the following product type. Is this something of interest to you? And would you be willing to complete a detailed survey about your experience with the product? So that gives them the opportunity to say yes or no. If they say yes, then we ship them the product. They do that survey and they get to keep the product. That's a great part of what we do. We have given away, through the partners we work with, over $1 million in products to consumers across North America. Like we work with a nursery brand. They're a furniture manufacturer. And we've partnered with them. I think at this point, we've given away 15 to 20 full nursery sets with them. So that can be really game changing to a family, right? They're affordable products and giving it to their target audience, but maybe their target audience couldn't happen to afford it at that moment. It's really rewarding to us to know that we're having that type of impact.
For sure. Yeah, like you said, got to be a game changer for some families out there, for any family out there to not have to, spend money on diapers or a crib or something for a little while. That's huge.
Absolutely. Yeah. Game-changing difference. Like when we test diapers, very often we'll try to get the manufacturer to give us enough, at least a month's supply if possible, depending on if that baby's at a stage where they're going to be changing sizes. That's a little bit more challenging, but we want to give them a good supply so that, number one, we're making life a little bit easier, but number two, they have enough to make sure that they can give us a valid and effective evaluation of the product.
Great. Yeah, I mean, imagine, it's like, here, use this product for 3 days and then give us your feedback. Like a company could do that, but that's,
Yeah. I mean, it depends on the product, right? If it's a blender or, whatever, if it's something really basic, like, not that this is basic, but we work with Dyson, they're air purifiers. You don't need 4 weeks to determine if you are happy with a Dyson air purifier, right? Like you can see the different air quality, you can measure things like that. And within a week, yes, I love this product, or no, I don't. But I think with diapers, you want to make sure you're encountering every scenario, the leak proof, the comfort, the skin reactions, things like that. You need more time.
For sure. It's so important. They're so, absorbent hygiene products are so huge to people's kind of life, well-being and comfort and, the ability to just live we don't like the word normal, but to live a happy and functional life that you can't just,
Absolutely.
Now, I imagine it's got to be a big challenge. Not only, I mean, you mentioned you have a sales team, so I imagine they're out there recruiting brands and trying to get brands on board to come to you to test their products. But then, particularly in the baby sphere, you're losing customers every day once their children age out of that age range that you need, for diapers, for instance. It's only about 3 years that they're going to be wearing diapers. So I imagine it's got to be a big challenge, not only selling to brands, but also recruiting members to be able to continue to test the products and keep the business model going.
Right. So thankfully, it's not a challenge because new moms or pregnant moms are probably spending the most time researching products in advance. So inevitably, they are finding out about parent tested, parent approved. Then when they see there's an opportunity to get to test products for free in exchange for their opinion, our site becomes something that they are excited to join and sign up for that opportunity. So I think that's probably why, while the audience of diaper users continues with us, obviously they're not going to stay within diapers, that group of moms is constantly being replenished. And my favorite thing is we have a few clients who've recently had their first or second child. Actually, it was for both of them, it was their first child. And I loved that they came back to me and said, while I was doing my research, Parent Tested, Parent Approved, ptba.com, that was the number one site I went to when I was trying to look up a specific product, because I've had the opportunity to go through the testing. I've had the opportunity to test products, and I know that this is something that's going to be valuable. And they tell their friends. Like I said before, it grows organically. If you received a nursery set for free and you are a new mom, you would be telling everyone, and everyone would be going, okay, I need to sign up, because if there's even the slightest, it's like buying a lottery ticket. If there's the slightest chance you're going to get the opportunity to get free products, why wouldn't you sign up?
For sure. No, that makes sense. And that's, I guess that having that organic audience of happy users and their benefits there, and makes your job and just a slightly bit easier, I'm sure.
Exactly.
Now, you mentioned a little bit the process for brands, and particularly brands that maybe don't pan out and don't get that seal. And I'm curious, given that they're your customers, they're paying you, how do you avoid conflicts of interest?
Right.
If you're communicating to customers and saying, hey, these brands are paying us.
Sure.
My radar went off as saying like, well, is there any sort of opportunity there for a brand to, as you mentioned with some competitors, get approved and not necessarily have a good product?
And that's a really valid and valuable concern and question. So here's the thing. I have spent over 15 years building a seal of approval that I want people to trust. And I want the first thing they think of when they see Parent Tested, Parent Approved is trust and credibility. So for the value of one customer's fee, I am not willing to risk that. So if I put my seal of approval on a product, kind of like the product we talked about before, because they paid a fee to get tested and then people buy it and it fails, they are never going to trust me again. I have now destroyed all of the credibility I've spent 15 years building, right? So it's simply not worth it, which is why we are the only company in North America that provides a 70% refund of fees. And for the balance, we're using that money to provide you with all of the market research. So imagine how valuable that is. You're paying a small amount to have a focus group of consumers who are not sitting in a lab or sitting in a room. They're sitting at home using your product the way you want the product used, and they're giving you valuable feedback on why the product is just not living up to their expectations. And that is a game changer. We had a brand that we worked with. They are a huge multinational corporation, and they submitted 15 different products to us. Their product lines are typically amazing. One of their products lost, and I wanted to call the brand personally and let her know, but I was really worried about doing so. It was pretty early on in the business. And I called her and I told her, these 14 products did amazing and here's the feedback, but this one product, unfortunately, is not earning the seal of approval. And this is why. And she said to me the following, and I will never forget it. Sharon, you just proved that your organization is a credible organization, because we were just awarded 2 other awards for that product. But at the same time, our R&D team has found all of the flaws your community found, and we are actually pulling the product off the market. So, I was so hesitant to tell her the product had lost, but they already knew it was a lousy product. And these other companies had given her a seal, and she said, I am never going to work with them again, because now I know that there's no credibility behind it. So we're not going to be influenced by a fee. And in fact, you can't just go to our website and submit a product for the awards. You actually have to speak to one of us first, because we also want to gauge the quality of the products that you want to submit. Because if we look at the product and don't believe that it has merit or has the potential to earn our seal of approval, we don't want anyone wasting their time or their money with the program. So it's kind of, we're not necessarily for everyone. We are not the cheapest in the marketplace, but I can tell you that we are going to do the best job making sure we collect the most valuable research.
That's great to hear. And I mean, it's great to hear that there's brands out there that, they care so much about the success of their products and their consumers to say, if you give me an award for a product that we were testing, but we now know is faulty, like that ruins your, reputation with us, not so much as oh, we're so thankful we got this. So now we can put it in the market. So that's
You
good.
got it. And I mean, I've been saying this for a while now. What is the most valuable currency we have today? It's trust. And once you lose that trust with a consumer, it's done. Like there are enough options out there that they are never coming back to you. Like gone are the days where, somebody was dedicated to a national brand and would not consider a private label brand or a challenger brand. It was, no, I'm dedicated to this national brand. That is long gone, right? There's no loyalty anymore. The first second you do something wrong, there are endless choices. So, it's like a first impression when you meet someone. You have a very short period of time to make that first impression, and you want to make sure that you are doing it right and in a way that is honest, credible, because this new generation of parents, they're going to do their research on you. They want to know that you are a brand that cares about the communities that they serve, that you have a purpose beyond profit, and they're going to spend the time researching that. So you better make sure that your brand equity really jives with that, for lack of a better word, because that's like my 70s word. I just aged myself out of this conversation.
No, but and I think that's such a good point. We had a previous guest, Natalia Richer, who talked about essentially the people who are becoming parents now are the most well-educated group of parents, or, she said parents ever. And it's, it's not just, people getting educations, but it's the information that they have access to. And it's so easy, as you said, to, make one mistake, hurt that trust. And then that information is everywhere. It's all over social media. It's all over news reports. And it's, it can really impact a brand's reputation and business. So the ability to be able to, to have the opportunity to get feedback and act on that and, make sure that you're keeping that trust is so important.
Yeah. I mean, cancel culture is a real thing, right?
Yeah.
And I think that applies to people and that applies to brands. So social media, can quickly destroy a brand. If you have somebody who's had one bad experience, unfortunately, with most products, everything is subjective, right?
Yeah.
So one person's experience might not be the other person's experience, but that one experience ends up on social media. People start getting engaged, and very quickly your reputation is gone, which is very unfortunate, which means that businesses really have to take extra caution with the types of products they're putting into the marketplace.
Yeah, for sure. And I was reading a book recently, and it talks about the adage that when people are more likely to report a bad experience than they are a good experience, and you need it's like something like 7 good experiences to outweigh a bad experience or to overcome a bad experience. And so, yeah.
And with fake reviews, like that is a huge issue. It's funny, very often we look at different sites because we're trying to figure out how this review system is working, because we provide reviews and testimonials from our testers as well. But very often you'll go to a product and on an e-tailer site, and it'll say, you'll sort it by 4-star plus. And then you'll get to that product that says 4 stars. And by default, it'll show you the most positive one at the top. I always sort by the most recent.
Yep.
And by most recent, I inevitably find that all of the people are saying, I don't understand why this product had such great reviews, because it's lousy, it sucks, it's whatever, And then you're thinking to yourself, but yet it's coming up with 4 stars. Or there's an option, like I know Sephora is great. They give you an option to take a look at products that either people have been gifted for free, or products that are from consumers who actually purchased the product and they have not been incentivized. And there are drastically different results when you're looking at the incentivized reviews and the non-incentivized reviews. So all that to say, as a consumer, it is completely overwhelming to figure out what product is worth your hard-earned dollars.
Yeah, a lot of information out there.
Yeah.
So I guess with that in mind, I'm not a parent. I just have dogs, and we keep our purchases relatively simple.
That makes you a parent.
True. Yeah. A fur baby. But, I'm not getting exposed to the different seals of approvals and things like that, that a lot of these, consumer goods brands are using or are, like yours. I'm curious, are parents looking for these and has that changed? And kind of, I guess, in your opinion, where do you see that going?
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to say yes now more than ever. So what Parent Tested, Parent Approved does is take the guesswork out of shopping. We give them that confidence they need to purchase a product without so think of us as a program that allows you to bypass reading 10,000 reviews about a product and trying to figure out which is fake, which is a bot, which is real, which is, incentivized. We take the guesswork out of it. You see that seal, it's legitimately been tested by your peers. So yes, they are looking for it now more than ever, because now it's become incredibly challenging to sift through all the information that is out there. Like, we were looking at a product last week. It has 64,000 reviews. I mean, 64,000 reviews. Like, there's no chance you're going to have me even reading more than 8 to 10 of those. So while that looks fabulous, when you actually start digging into those reviews, which is painstaking when there's that many, you see such a broad assortment of opinions. Most of them are spelled, like the positive ones are very often spelled wrong, which is a clear sign, okay, this is a bot or this is paid for fake review, right? Nobody wants to spend their time doing that anymore. So being able to use a certification as a guiding tool for your purchase makes life a lot easier for the consumer.
Makes sense. Yeah. There's people's time is too valuable. Their money is too valuable to. Yeah.
Like, think about it. If you're going to buy I'm going to be very stereotypical here. You're going to buy a lawnmower. You're going to call a few buddies and say, I am being very stereotypical. Sorry.
I did it this summer, so no worries.
Okay, perfect. You're going to call a few people who have lawnmowers and go, okay, which one should I buy? Why did you like this? What did you hate about it? And then you're going to make your decision based on, like, they're going to be the most valuable resource you have, right? So that's what we're doing. We are calling 20 of your best friends and saying, okay, I'm going to give you this lawnmower. I want you to test it, use it, and then tell me what you really think. And if it's earned the seal, it means they all loved the product and it's worth your dollars. So it's just peer endorsements are, when you're looking at reviews, you're looking hopefully at peer endorsements. So we're just kind of giving you a shortcut.
So there you have it. If you're a brand that is looking for ways to get your products in the hands of target consumers to test, you don't have to figure that out on your own. There are companies out there like Parent Tested, Parent Approved that can help bridge that gap. On next week's episode, we'll continue our conversation with Sharon as she shares what feedback she is seeing from parents who are testing absorbent baby products and what recommendations she has for brands that are trying to win in the increasingly competitive market of baby diapers and pants. Attached to Hygiene is brought to you by Bostic and is hosted by me, Jack Hughes. It is produced and edited by me with the help of Paul Andrews, Michelle Takovitz, Emery Chernus, and Nikki Ackerman at Green Onion Creative. Post-production for Attached to Hygiene is done by Podcast Boutique. Our theme music is by Jonathan Boyle. We'd like to extend a special thank you to our guest today, Sharon Vinderine. You can follow Sharon and Parent Tested, Parent Approved on LinkedIn for more insights on the brands and companies they are working with and the feedback those brands are receiving from their target consumers. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.